Hey guys, you're welcome to another thrilling episode of the Sports with Mabel. Hope you are doing good. Um, last week we didn't drop an episode because my birthday was last week. It was a movie. I had the time of my life, so I was overwhelmed and I needed to. Yes, sis needed me time. But we are back. We are back. If this is the first time you are listening to me or seeing me on your screen, thank you so very much for clicking that link. If you are a regular on the show, thank you for trusting and clicking that link again. If you do not know what the podcast is about, this is a safe space where we squash everything, pretenses. We talk about your wins, your losses, how to be a better version of ourselves. We literally talk about anything and everything: relationship, religion, adulthood, childhood trauma, self things. We talk about anything and everything, which brings me to point this out. 2 weeks ago I did an episode talking about the history of Germany, and I said I wanted to go on the journey with you, but the math wasn't mathing, and I want to know if it's something that you guys are interested in listening to, or we just continue with our tete-a-tete and I keep my history lessons to myself. Kind of let me know, history or no history, and we proceed from there. So today we are not going to do history. Today we are doing something else. So you already know, tell a friend to tell a friend. Grab a coffee, grab your matcha, grab your wine, grab your popcorn. Let's dive into it. Guys, have you met someone and within seconds you already decided who they were? Like, this person is rude, this person is too quiet, I don't trust them, oh, I really like this person. Like, first impressions does feel like the truth, but what if you're not? Like, what if you judge the person in a moment, but it isn't who they actually are? So today we're asking a question: can people change, or are we just repeating patterns in different forms? Because the truth is, first impressions are quick, like they're almost automatic, but you're often incomplete. Like, I tell people that get past the first impression, I'm like, please do not judge me based on the first impression, because I might have had a day. That rude person, maybe you're overwhelmed, maybe there's a lot of pressure. That quiet person, maybe that person had been told shut up like one too many times. That cold person, maybe they've been hurt and now they're just protecting themselves. But I'm like, don't judge a book by its cover. Do not judge me based on first impressions. And I try to make a conscious decision not to judge people based on first impression. Though subconsciously is there somewhere, because we judge people in seconds when it can take a long time to understand them. And yet, in as much as we misjudge people, there's another side of the conversation, which leads to our question. There are people that change, and there are some people that don't. They repeat the same patterns, but just in different situations. I mean, you see people that complain about the same problems year in, year out, and they never change their behavior. Me, I identify as one of those people, because I'm like, you know what? I need to get the summer body. I need to do this. I need to do that. My diet is a wreck. I will not go to the gym consistently. I will say I want to start reading. I said that at the beginning of the year. I picked up a book, and then, yeah, but am I expecting a different outcome? Yes, I am. Do I still want to get my summer body? Yes, I do want to. But we already know how the story ends, because I convinced myself, I'm like, oh, this time will be different. This is that. But the work is in my head. It's not change. I end up just falling into a circle. It's repetitive. And the thing is, repetition is familiar. It's safe. And it's even when, it's not helpful in any way, but you're like, you know what, this feels nice. And we see it in relationships all the time. People that go back to their exes, toxic, not toxic. They tell you they've changed, they promise they've grown, But change is not what you say, it's not what happens in your head, it is what you consistently do. Same as if someone apologizes but they repeat the same behavior over and over again. Now, that's not growth, that's a circle. Like, the story shifts, it's a different format, but the pattern remains the same. And then you have to like pause and ask yourself, is this growth or is it just the same circle we're in a different phase? Because real change, it looks different. It's not easy, it's not rosy. Going to the gym, lifting those weights, it is not. Looking at your phone and telling yourself, oh, you're not going to send this message. Or when some things happen, you're like, you know what, I'm not going to react in that way. I'm going to do countdown 1 to 10 and then I'm going to react. It shows in how you respond, your boundaries, your consistency. But the thing is, my dear listeners, change is one thing, but getting people to see that you have changed is a different battle entirely. We're talking about work because, okay, say for instance at work, people meet a version of you and they hold on to that. Like, oh, this person is a quiet one, or this person is a slow one. Even in school, we do that. Now, even if you have grown beyond that, those people will keep reacting with you based on the information that they had. Their memory does not update. I see it a lot with my childhood friends or the people I went to school with. I'm like, yo, bro, then I didn't know my left from my right. Then I had a lot of things that I was figuring out. I was still figuring out my life. I have changed. That version of me needs to be updated. The person that didn't speak up for herself, the person that made certain mistakes, the person that didn't know better. I know I have grown, but they will not accept that part. They will keep relating on that same level. And when you try to bring them to the new version, you're like, ooh, brother, what's that? What you doing? Why you deform? Why is you like, you've changed, but you're accepting the fact that you've changed. You're still going to relate to you based on who you used to be. They still expect you to react the same way, stay the same way. And sometimes your growth makes other people uncomfortable, the same way some people's growth can make you uncomfortable, because this is different from what I'm used to. This is different from how I know you. And it's not because you're wrong, but now it's different. You're not just growing, you're outgrowing expectations. It's not easy, even for you, that the growth is happening too. It's not something that you just wake up and you just... I think is growth can create distance. And it's not because you think you're better, because you're no longer the same. And now the conversation gets deeper. You now have to explain to people that, oh, I put in the work. The change is not just external, it's internal. This is what happened, this is what happened. And sometimes you can't even explain it, because it's not just in your behavior, it's a transformation. And the transformation, it's wild and it's not even easy. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, if anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. And it's not a slight improvement, it's not a temporary improvement, it's a new process, a new habit. So it's like, how do I start to explain that this is what's going on? Because now it is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable change. It is a daily change. It's an intentional change. You're like, this is what I want to do for myself. This is how I want to show up for myself. This is it. This is that. You wake up and you're choosing differently over and over again. So you're basically trying to build a habit. And that is a whole lot of work. So we're like, can people change? I ask that question a lot. I ask me that question a lot, because the way I do sometimes, I'm like, baby girl. I'm like, but yes, people can change. Not because they say they will, not because, oh, they've clocked one age and you're like, oh, let me start taking responsibility, or let me start being serious with my life. Oh, I want to change. The question is not, can people change? Is this person willing to change? I think that is, anybody can change. I believe anybody can change, but are you willing to? Because at the end of the day, you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. Though not everybody needs to understand it for it to be real, but it is okay to grow and not feel and not be beaten for it. Not be, they don't want to kill you. You're not who I used to know. And I'm like, just giving room for that to happen. And it doesn't need to make sense to anybody. And growth is hard. Growth is really hard. But is it worth it at the end of the day? I think that's a question you're going to have to answer. It depends on where you're coming from. Right? So your change or your growth, are you moving from good to better, or from better to bad to, so it depends. It depends on you, but it's not easy. Change is definitely not easy, and first impressions take time to know people. When someone says don't judge a book by its cover, I think these days I am beginning to slow it down, in the sense there's the in the moment, like, oh yes, this is what happened, oh I like this person, oh this person is because I like saw this or I heard this, and then I have certain perception of this person. Or you're just like, let's rewind the tape, let's start from the beginning. What's up? How are you? Who are you? And this is, I say on the pod a lot of times, when I'm dealing with people, especially when I'm not dealing with them on a surface level, when I'm like, oh yes, I kind of like your madness, and I think my madness and your madness will go really well. I want to know the foundation of it. Oh, how was your childhood like? How was this? How was that? How was okay? What kind of day did you have? I am so big on asking questions these days that it annoys me. Are you good? Are you okay? How was your day? What happened? Okay, you reacted this way. Why did you react this way? Why did you say this? Why did you do that? And it is hard to do that, in a sense. I wasn't always like that. It is something that I had to be intentional about. I had to learn it. I had to stop jumping in head first, stop assuming, and ask questions. Like, that was a daily reminder. Baby girl, stop assuming and ask questions. Don't assume you know a person. When people say, oh, see, finish the answer, don't assume you know everything about everybody. This was a shocker for me when I moved to Dubai and I stayed with my mom. I had this image of my mom. I'm like, oh, this is how this person is. So I couldn't relate to her on a certain level because I felt, or I assumed, this was how she was. Something happened, and then we had a conversation, and I was so happy we did, because that was literally like what bonded us. So what I have learned is, don't assume. First off, do not assume. Do not look past first impressions. 2, yes, people change. People do change, but they won't change because of you. Oh, if you love me, you change. No, sweetheart, no. It is, I want to change because I want to change. I see there is a benefit if I do it. It's not a you factor. It is, I am willing to change. I am willing to put in the work because of 1, 2, 3. I think with that, it makes it more permanent, not a temporary change. The change is not based on, oh, this person is in my life, so you get. What else did we talk about? So yes, first impressions change. Some people change, some people don't. Give room for people to change. Give room for your brain, your medulla. Give room for that to happen. Give people grace to change. Give people grace to evolve. Don't be so stuck in that, oh, this is not how I knew you, oh, this was not what you were doing, this is not. Those some people, they will say is that they've changed, but they didn't change. Rise up, open your eye, don't fall for it. But yeah, some people do say they change, but it's not a matter of what they say. Actions just speak louder than words. I'm saying I've changed, but what am I doing about it? Does my actions match what's coming out from my mouth? That is what matters. So yeah, be consistent, be intentional. It's not easy, but it is beneficial in the long run. Depends on what direction you are going to. The aim of this pod is to be better versions of ourselves. Better versions, not worse than what we were or where we were yesterday. And it is okay to relapse. Like I said, this is a safe space. It is okay to relapse every once in a while, but dust your buttocks. Get up, get back at it. The race, we will run it to the end. And do not forget, my bunnies, do not forget your mental health. Your mental health is a priority. Take it, treat it like your life depends on it, because it does. It really does. Every single thing. Choose you. Everybody will be fine. In as much as I'm saying choose you, doesn't mean that if choosing you is gonna hurt somebody they cannot get over it ever again. No, we're not going to choose us in that. Yeah, well, do you, girl? Okay, scrap that part. Your mental health is a priority. Take it like your life depends on it. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the podcast. You can send your stories on Instagram, The Squash Podcast. You can listen to us on YouTube, The Squash Podcast, on Spotify, The Squash Podcast. I am liking the way I am growing. You trust me to always hype myself up. I'm like, hey. Like, yes, your girl clocked one, ambitional one. And did I think about my life? Yes, I did. Are we going to dive into that? No, we are not. Adulthood was adulting, but we did it. We are bigger, better, glowing, glower.